You are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. I want to first start off by saying that I'm honored and privileged to represent Fort Drum, home of the 10th Mountain Division, the most deployed division in the U.S. Army since 9/11. And I want to take this opportunity to thank every soldier, every serviceman and women for deployment after deployment after the past 2 decades. The North Country, this committee, and this country are forever grateful for your service and sacrifice of both you and your families. I want to direct my question, the first question, to any of you on the panel today, and it's about the evacuation and force protection efforts at the Hamid Karzai International Airport. Force protection efforts were made specifically as the ISIS-K threat intelligence came in before and after the suicide bombing at the airport.
So, Representative, first of all, the 10th Mountain was a key part of our defense there at the airport, and I certainly appreciate their contribution to it. Force protection is something we balanced all the time against the requirement to let people come in and be processed and get on the airplanes. So we looked at that every day. And as you know, those two things are in tension, and you have to balance them every day. We had over 300 credible intelligence reports of ISIS-K attacks, plans to attack the airport. Turns out that they were able to carry out one successful suicide vest attack. They also launched rockets at us. There were many other attacks that we were able to either vector Taliban elements onto to prevent, or perhaps the Taliban were able to prevent those by the outer cordon that they established. But force protection was a key thing that we balanced throughout the entire operation, and we thought the risk was very high at all time. Again, principally from ISIS-K, and I'll pause there, ma'am.
I'm going to follow up. We depended upon the Taliban for security to get the evacuees and Americans behind enemy lines into the airport. Did the United States or coalition forces provide money, any form of payment or assistance to the Taliban to expedite the evacuation of Americans as the security environment in Kabul deteriorated?
No, we did not. What we did was we asked the Taliban to establish a cordon about 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer beyond each of the gates, where we could reduce the number of people that were coming down and showing up at the gates, so we wouldn't have the possibility of a mass attack. They did that. They were not compensated or rewarded in any way for that. It was a very pragmatic, business-like discussion. I don't trust the Taliban. I didn't trust them then. I don't trust them now. So that was the method, that was the way we approached it.
Thank you, General McKenzie. And Secretary Austin, I just want to get the department on record in addition to General McKenzie's answer. So there was no form of payment by the U.S. or coalition forces at any time during the evacuation to the Taliban?
To my knowledge, there was none.
And Chairman Milley?
I have no knowledge of any money that transmitted from any element of the United States government to the Taliban whatsoever.
My next question is, we are 20 years from the attacks on 9/11, and I obviously am from the state of New York, and it is a very, very solemn occasion for all Americans, but particularly New Yorkers, every year as we commemorate that date. I would like to get your assessment. Is the terrorist threat from Afghanistan greater today or lesser than it was pre-9/11? I'll start with you, Chairman Milley.
I think right this minute it is lesser than it was in 9/11. However, I think the conditions are set or could be set, and I testified to this yesterday. I say it again. I've said it in public many times. The conditions could be set for a reconstitution of al-Qaeda and/or ISIS, and I gave some specific times in my statement, and I stand by those. I think that it's a real possibility in a not-too-distant future, 6, 12, 18, 24, 36 months, that kind of time frame, for reconstitution of al-Qaeda or ISIS, and it's our job now, under different conditions, but it's our job to continue to protect American citizens against attacks from Afghanistan.
Secretary Austin, your response to that question?
I would agree with General Milley that al-Qaeda has been degraded over time. Now, terrorist organizations seek ungoverned spaces so that they can train and equip and thrive, and so there is clearly a possibility that can happen here going forward. Our goal is to maintain a laser-like focus on this so that it doesn't happen.
And I apologize, the gentlelady's time has expired. Mr. Carbajal is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to all our witnesses that are here today. And I want to start by one of the things I like about this committee is that we're pretty bipartisan. But every once in a while, the partisan beast comes out. And I'm sure it happens from both sides of the aisle. This is my third term here. The administration from the other party, not in power, is oftentimes, depending what perspective you come to it, one is doing